line, bootlegged away, look down the field. Here's Terry Gardner laying over in the flats. I dump it off to Terry. Terry Gardner takes it in the end zone. Touchdown. We upset him. People could not believe the fact that not only had Marshall put a team back on the field, they actually won the game.
People were in that ballpark for an hour after the game. They couldn't leave. Red Dawson up in the press box sends down the winning play. Now here's the guy that felt he should have been the head coach. Here's a guy who survived the tragedy. You see how things work out? It's crazy. He sends down the winning play. And it worked like a charm. And, of course, what was the thing we were thinking about that night? About the plane crash.
You know, my career at Marshall was, you know, the two worst years before the plane crash and the two toughest years after the plane crash. I guess it was, in my mind, it was time for me to leave the program. You know, I set out to become one of the great head football coaches of all time, but, you know, it just didn't work out. Nobody called. So we had to go a different route. I had decided to take a job as a construction worker, but we put sewers in instead of calling plays.
First, it was like, are they ever going to be able to come back? How are they ever going to be able to have a winning program? It just doesn't seem possible. It seems too insurmountable. And they had a lot of losing seasons in a row, and they went through a lot of coaches. But it was a case where everybody wanted to do everything they could to help Marshall football come back. Finally, Stan Parrish had that first winning season, and there became that crack of daylight. Then, that's when they grabbed the ball and ran with it. They saw that, hey, it's not hopeless. You know, it's not star-crossed. Football program can be a winner here. And once they saw that, and once they saw light at the end of the tunnel, then everything changed, and things changed in a hurry.
That crash humanized Marshall. You had flesh and blood people who lost their lives. If you'll check your calendars, almost, it was a slow thing, but began the transition of Marshall from a small, underfunded school to what it is today, began as a result of that plane crash. We suddenly began to get some help. And what you have is this great school you have today.
On three, hit and win. On three, hit and win. Let's go. 1, 2, 3. Hit and win. Let's go. Chalk it off. Let's go. Let's go. Come on now.
The fans and the people, I think, are really the reason that Marshall is successful now.
Somebody walks. Let's go. Come on. Hey, Steven, somebody breaks free, you gotta let it go. That's a sack. You ain't gonna get that ball off.
They've gone through the tough time. They're the ones that stayed here and fought this battle. And it was a long, painful process that it took a number of coaches, and I think each coach made a contribution to build our program.
7 seconds left of the MAC championship game. This is the right call. You pass, one pass option. Maybe some type of rollout by Pennington. Pennington looking, throwing, touchdown! Marshall!
There's not anybody in the world would envision Marshall University as much as 4 years ago. Being 10th in the nation, have 2 different players that are Heisman Trophy finalists, and having games on national television. When I think about what's happened here, certainly I get teary-eyed, because it certainly is a miracle.
For the second year in a row, they are the champions of the Motor City Bowl.
We're very aware of what's going on here in the past and what's going on right now. It's something that we don't necessarily dwell on every day, but it's in our hearts and minds. And what's happened at Marshall University is a true miracle. And I know some of those people are on that plane crash. They're looking down at us right now, and they're smiling. There's nobody who ever convinced me of that, but that's not true.
Marshall is now coming about the recognition that it deserves, and having been a part of it, you know, I feel real good about having gone to Marshall. You know, there's some people that would say, hey, it's 30 years now, let it go. You know, how do you let that go? Through myself and people like me, they're going to live on forever.
I feel real proud of the team. You know, 10 years ago, I never envisioned being able to go back to Florida State and bragging about the fact that I used to coach at Marshall, but that's a fact. I'm proud that I coached at Marshall.
I say
That's exactly what
it changed my entire life. I look in the mirror, and I'm 48 now. They were always forever young. They're always 18, 19, 20 years old in my mind.
It's not unusual for all the children to go to a game, and if we are enjoying the present success, we just know that there are a lot of people that aren't here now that must just surely know how great things have gotten.
Still very much a part of us. But as the generations come along and time passes, it's just becoming a part of history. And I think that's where it belongs eventually.
They're a blessed school, and that's what I've continued to remind them, that that curse has changed to a blessing, and you're now receiving it, and so you better enjoy it while it's there. We still believe there's a 12th player out there, and that 12th player is the people who died in the crash, who are always pulling for you.
After November 14th, 1970, Marshall University brought to mind one image, that of the tragic plane crash. But today it's known as the winningest college football team of the 90s. Finally, the program reached the level of success it set out to achieve 30 years ago. May they rest in peace. I'm Steve Cyphers for ESPN Classic.